So last year in October 2019, the rent for a studio apartment in Boston, the average rent was $21.90, so almost $2,200, and it has gone down to $1,800 in Boston right now. So because of the pandemic, the rental market is suffering a little bit, and it's the time for us cheap ass tenants to move in. Okay, welcome back to another Boston themed video. So before we start on this video, let me pour myself some French press coffee and then we can proceed because we have a lot of ground to cover. Now that the coffee is in, I literally French pressed it and I put it in my coffee mug. We can talk business. So you guys know that I've been making a lot of Boston videos, or at least some Boston videos, like this video and this video, and recently I made a video that people liked a lot, which is everything you need to know about moving to Boston. Literally Kelly Stamps liked that video. She subscribed to my channel after that video, so you can understand that that video had a lot of value. After that, I had been getting a lot of questions about the cost of living in Boston and what it takes to save money in Boston, and that's why I wanted to make this video. This video, I'm gonna tell you everything about what the average cost of living in Boston is like and how to save money in Boston. It is not impossible. Just in the past year, I have increased my savings now to like mid 5-digit savings, and I have been so happy about it. So let's talk about really money in Boston and how you save money living here. Okay, so the first things first, I want to talk about rent, and I don't want to like really go into the detail because I kind of talked about rent in my last video, but rent in Boston is expensive is the bottom line of all the conversations you and I could have on this topic. Rent in Boston is freaking expensive, but the good news is that because of the pandemic, which itself is a major bad news, but if there is any silver lining around whatever is craziness is going on this year, is that rent has decreased in a lot of big cities like New York City and also in Boston. So I'm gonna put a link right here. It's zumper.com. Copy this link, click on this link, and I'm also going to put it in the bio, and look how much the rent has decreased from last year to this year. So last year in October 2019, the rent for a studio apartment in Boston, the average rent was $21.90, so almost $2,200, and it has gone down to $1,800 in Boston right now. So because of the pandemic, the rental market is suffering a little bit, and it's the time for us cheap ass tenants to move in. If you gotta live in Boston, this would be your time to move in. Also, this isn't just true for studios. Last year in October 2019, the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Boston was $2,600, and it's down now this year to $2,200. So last year you could get a studio for $2,200, but this year you could get a whole 1-bedroom apartment for $2,200. So the one thing that I wanted to tell you is that if you are looking to move into a bigger city, I guess for better or for worse, this is your time because the rents are cheap. Not only that, if you look on the websites, and I can put some of the listings down below, a lot of the places are offering up to 2 months of free rent. So the first question I would ask myself is, do I even have to physically be in Boston? And if the answer is yes, if you have an engagement or something that you have to be here, then this is the right time to basically find an apartment. So this is the time to move in. My second tip on the same sort of topic would be to find a roommate. Obviously, there is a pandemic going on. I don't want to talk about the pandemic. I think about it all the time, but I'm just saying finding a roommate would be good in the sense that if you know somebody's not sick, they're okay, they're doing well, and they want to find a roommate, your rent, obviously, from a 1-bedroom, if it's like $2,200, I assume for a 2-bedroom, it would be somewhere around $2,600-$2,800. Your rent would be half of what you would pay for a 1-bedroom. So think about that. I think roommate in Boston is the best way to save money. And I've posted these websites before, but here I'm putting another website that would help you find roommates. Another thing that I want to talk about on the same topic is cheaper neighborhoods. So Boston itself is expensive, but there are a lot of close neighborhoods that you could move into that are actually probably in a pandemic would be safer than what's going on in Boston right now, and the rent would be lower. And those neighborhoods are Medford, Somerville, East Boston, and Worcester. So these are the neighborhoods that you could look into. All these 4 neighborhoods that I mentioned, the rent is lower and you would need just a little bit more commute, but then imagine your rent would be significantly lower. And in a lot of these places you can get houses that it's very easy to share between roommates than sharing an apartment per se. Just by doing some of these tips, you can cut your rent in half, and you can save up to months on rent, and you could save a lot of money throughout the year. Imagine even saving $500 a month. That's about like $6,000 a year you're saving, and you're putting it in towards your 5-figure savings. So think about that. Number 2 I'm going to talk about is side hustles. There is nobody I really know that I'm close friends with that only has one job. A lot of people I know have at least multiple jobs, in the sense that, for example, I do research at Harvard, but I also write articles myself, freelance. I also do sort of these media interviews with scientific magazines. I do make YouTube videos. I'm not making any money from them, but you need a side hustle. You can pick up so many freelance activities. You can pick up freelance writing. You can pick up freelance editing. You can do so much in that area. Also, this might not be the best time for everyone, but a lot of places are now looking for grocery delivery people, which a lot of my friends do. If I could do that, I would also probably do that. A lot of my friends do grocery deliveries on like bikes per se. That's their way of getting exercise and making money. Or if you have a car, you can sort of do these grocery delivery things in your car. Obviously, being a pandemic time, you want to be careful about how much in contact you come with other people, but a lot of these services are actually really careful. So if you wear a mask, if you practice social distancing, if you have a hand sanitizer, you will probably will be safe, and this would be the time for you to make some extra money. So think about that. Number 3, I want to talk about my secret tips to saving money. Among my secret tip, my favorite tip is thrifting. I hate fast fashion. I am never probably gonna buy fast fashion, and I am in love with thrifting. I recently went thrifting and I'm wearing my favorite pants that I'm actually wearing right now. Like, these pants I bought from a thrift store. There are so many thrift stores in Boston. Boston is literally littered with thrift stores like Goodwill, like Boomerang, like Buffalo Exchange. Hell, Cambridge has a whole garment district that's like all for thrifting. Last time I went thrifting, I got a blazer, I got jeans, I got a pajama, I got a pullover, all for 24 bucks. I got 4 articles of clothing for 24 bucks. That's like an average of like 6 bucks per article. Imagine how much money I'm saving. And you might wonder if thrifting is safe in Boston right now. And I'm gonna tell you, thrifting is about as safe as doing any other thing, as going to the grocery store or going wherever other place you might be going where there might be people. When I recently went to thrifting at Goodwill, they had a line outside that was socially distant, and they gave each shopper a 30-minute limit. So when we were going in, they were constantly telling us that we only have 30 minutes to shop with whatever we want in the store, and then we have to leave. They kept saying it, and everybody was following that rule, and I never felt like I was around too many people. The other thing you might be wondering about is like, why would I want to wear clothes from somebody else during the pandemic? Well, what you can do is you can bring those clothes in, you can spray them with whatever disinfectant you have, or better yet, you can directly throw them in the washer and the dryer. I mean, I cannot imagine anything is going to survive after a really hard wash and being in the dryer. You can also sun dry them if you want, and like, I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. Another one of my secret tips to save money, and that's like what your mom would tell you: don't go out to eat, don't buy coffee, don't go out to drink. And guess what? Because of the pandemic, soon there'll be another lockdown and we won't be able to do any of those things anyway. So 2020 is taking care of those, so I'm gonna just skip by that. My third secret tip is free activities. Boston is littered with like beautiful cemeteries, beautiful gardens, beautiful ponds, beautiful areas you could explore. You could literally get one of those blue bikes and go around the city, and you don't need hardly any money for that. There are so many beautiful, fun, free activities for you to do in Boston that it's like crazy. So think about those and don't spend a lot of money on stupid activities. And then my last secret tip is share subscription services. Another benefit that comes with having a roommate is that you can share all of your video subscriptions like Amazon Prime, like Hulu, like Netflix, like YouTube TV, like all of this, it's basically cut in half. So you can watch a lot of shows, but for half the price. Imagine, like, I mean, just think about that. Now, towards the end of the video, I really wanted to share my bonus tip with you. So my bonus tip with you is that you matter and your money matters. So what I'm talking about that is whenever you're looking for a new place or wherever you're looking for a new apartment, negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. I know multiple people right now that have gotten 2 to 3 months of free rent because they said they're moving in, and apartments are wanting people to move in. Hell, we moved into this apartment, like I told you, in August, and it just so happened that our washer and dryer wasn't working till like mid-October. I complained my ass off, and guess what? They gave us a $500 Visa gift card just for my complaining and just for our patience, because our dryer and washer wasn't working and it was supposed to. I complained like a... But it's my right. If I'm moving in and I need a washer and dryer to work, I need it to work. And if it's not working for a month and a half, hell, I need some compensation. Doing some of the things in my secret tip and the bonus tips, you can save an additional, like, I am not kidding, $2,000 to $3,000 a year. That could easily take you up to like $9,000. If you want to round it up to 5 figures, literally put your tax return that you get into this. Put your next stimulus check into this. Biden better give us a stimulus check is what I'm saying. So these are some of my tips. I just wanted you guys to understand that even though times are not that good, you can make the most of it. You can save money just like I did this year. So use all these tips and save money and invest it in something good and build an empire. And I believe in you and I love you and thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.